Oh my gosh, you guys, check this out behind me here. Beautiful, hey? It's not super big cliff, but I think we'll get some drone shots. Beautiful setting though, with all the green. Ferns growing out of the trees up there. It's a nice one. Anyways, you guys, I got the big XR. If you guys want to know how to get the most out of your XR650L, I'm going to go over some of the things I've done over the last pretty much 30 years. I got that thing in the mid-90s, so I can't remember the exact date when I got it, but I've had this bike a long time. But I'm going to go over some of the things that I've done, why I've done them, and why it's working for me, and maybe you guys can get something out of that. It's a pretty cool old bike. I really enjoy that one. It's a good one. Oh, now we're talking. Love it. Okay, let me figure a way, get situated. So yeah, 30 years of owning this old girl, you guys. I got so many stories with this bike I could bore you guys for days, but I don't remember exactly when I got it. It was like somewhere around the mid-90s, so roughly 30 years ago, and I can pretty much definitively tell you guys, at least for me anyways, what works and what doesn't work. Some of the biggest mods I've done, and I'll put a card up here in the corner, a link to a video that I did not too long ago, that what I considered the top mods that you can do to this bike, and you guys should go have a watch on that video. But I'll talk about some of my favorite mods and why I did them. The front forks was one of the biggest. As you guys know or may not know, I used to ride freestyle motocross, you know, doing the tricks professionally for a living, so of course I like my stunts, you know what I mean? I like to do the nose wheelies, ride the front tire, and go in with the firmer motocross. You know, this front end's off a CR250, so, and I can go heavier springs or whatever, and it's just so much more plush and pleasant, and you got your much more adjustability with those forks compared to the old conventional style forks. I mean, it worked okay with those forks too, don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere near like what it is now. Like, it's, you know, every bike on the planet nowadays pretty much has upside down forks for a reason. They're just much more stable. They just work way better. More adjustability. It's just, they're miles ahead of those old school forks. So that's one of the reasons I went with the upside down forks. Plus it looks cool. I mean, you gotta have the looks, right? I also went with the proper triple clamps, so I retained all my locking steering and, you know, where the dash goes. That's another thing I updated, was the dash. I went with the more modern Vapor, you know, the Trail Tech Vapor model, and then I got the outer bezel with the blinker lights and all the idiot lights. That was really a nice upgrade. You wouldn't think it would be, but, you know, it just modernizes the bike a little bit. And then, you know, it's nice to have digital tach and all that kind of stuff, and temperature and all that stuff, RPM, and those are two of my favorites for sure. And then if you guys follow me, you'll also know that I took the motor out and I opened it up and I put second gear and fifth gear. That's another common mod. What that does is get second gear a little bit closer to first gear. So when you shift from first to second, it's not such a big leap like it used to be. And that's a really pleasant mod for if you guys do a lot of exploring as I do. You know, I like to creep around the bush, you know, just looking at stuff and getting pictures and whatever. And that second gear is probably the most used gear on the bike. So that's, for me, that was a really big one. Now the gap is a little bit bigger between second and third, but you don't really notice it. And then the fifth gear also, that gives you a bit of an overdrive. So I should have measured, I forgot what my RPMs used to be before, but at least 500, maybe even 1,000 RPM, it dropped the RPM at the same highway speeds with the fifth gear. So, you know, over a long trip, that's a lot of, you know, gas and RPM. You're saving wear and tear. Your motor's not working as hard either. So those are two major mods I would definitely, you know, consider if you're considering going crazy. And then the basics: exhaust, air filter. I eliminated my battery box completely, and then I put the battery in the air box, and I eliminated the air box. The air filter is a pod filter. It goes right on the back of the carb, and then I've got a uni filter and then an outerwear, it's called, you know, the skin. So it's like a 3-stage filter now. It actually filters better now than it did before with no air box. And that goes right on the back of the carb, and it works great for me, except for the whistle. I'd like to go to a bit bigger air filter. Once in a while, like, well, pretty much all the time, I do get a whistle, and that's from, I only went with a 4-inch pod filter, and I probably should have went with the 6-inch to let a little more air in faster, or the way the air is flowing by it whistles. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's pretty much the major stuff. Air filter, exhaust, of course, full exhaust I would go with, not just a slip-on. But then again, you know, I've seen a lot of dyno runs, and the stock exhaust does work pretty good, like the header. The smaller diameter pipes give you a little more back pressure, so that's what you want on these older XRs like this. And that's another reason I went with FMF, because their diameter, the header diameter on the FMF is the same, if not slightly smaller from what I measured. So that retains the same performance as the stock header. And then I went with a square core FMF pipe. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but the inside core on the slip-on is actually square. It's not round, so you get much more flow out. Like, square is more surface area than round, right? Like, so that's why they call it the square core. And then it works really good. I got it so dialed in, I've never had any problems. I've had that carb, it's off of a, I think, first year CRF 450, so like I think a 2002 was the first year. I'm pretty sure that's what it was off of. And I did that, I think, like in 05 or something, or I don't remember exactly when, 04 maybe, but in all those years I've never pulled it off because I've had a problem. It just works good. That's another thing I do run from the fuel tank to the carb, is one of those little inline fuel filters. Probably not necessary because there's a filter in the tank, but I'm pretty, you know, I want my fuel clean going into the carb, and that's probably one of the reasons I've never had any issues. So extra filtering is a good thing in my opinion. That's the major stuff. All my bags for my camera gear. I don't know, I also added the cheap hydraulic clutch. You know, that was a bit of a gimmick. One of my buddies, because I do have a Magura, like the high-end ones on my CR250, and I've had them on other bikes too. They work really well, but one of my other buddies bought it. I think we got it off Wish or one of those overseas Temu or something. I can't remember where we got it, but I bought 2 anyways. They were so cheap. I think it was 20 bucks or 25 bucks for that hydraulic clutch. Direct bolt on too. It works flawless. It works as good as my $500 Magura that's on my CR250, and it's smooth, buttery smooth. I don't know what to say. If it fails, I got a spare, but it's pretty bulletproof. I mean, there's not much can go wrong. That's about it, you guys. Let me know, let everybody else know in the comments what you guys have done to your XRs and what you plan on doing, and then we can all go down and have a read in the comments and get some more ideas from our bikes. But if you guys want to know anything in specific, like, let me know, and maybe I'll do like a YouTube short or something to go over it. I don't know what else to say. As for oil, I've always ran Shell Rotella. My dad used to have semis back in the day, and he never lost any engines to Shell Rotella, so that kind of sold me. I ran the T4, which is the non-synthetic, for most of the bike's life. And then I switched to the T5, and now the last bunch of years I've been running the T6, the 540. So the 40's the weight you're concerned about. That's the warm weight. The first number is the cold weight. So, and the oil gets pumped from the bottom end up to the top of the head through that little line that's on the back of the cylinder there. So I tend to go for like 0 or 5 with the cold number, because then, you know, that initial startup is always, any engine on the planet, that's one of the hardest things on them, is the initial startup. And this has to pump oil all the way to the top, so I'd rather have thinner oil than the 1540 going through there on that initial startup. Once it's warm, not a big deal, but whew, that was a lot to say about it. So yeah, let me know what you guys have been up to, how your XRs are coming along. 30 years, or close to it anyways, and I'm never getting rid of it. I do got 2 spare motors, so I might build a crazy motor. I might build another one too, to be honest. I eye them up all the time and consider building like just a pristine newer one, but for now this one gets the work done. Right on, you guys. Let me know what's going on. Right. Ooh, yeah, it's a little way down. Cool vantage point, cool rock though. I like how smooth it is. It's neat. So right on, you guys. Hopefully I don't know if you guys can get something out of all that information, but hopefully you do. Like I said, if you want to know more about it, just drop some comments and let me know what you guys want to know, and I'll see if I can address it. But just such a great bike. I just, you know, I'm a huge advocate. I love, I've always liked Hondas. Like, how can you go wrong with Honda reliability? I mean, it's probably at the top of the food chain in my opinion. And that bike's been around for a million years, since what, the 80s, that motor, and the NX or whatever, that first one. So yeah, right on, you guys. I'm gonna go ride that old girl out of here on this goat path. Another one of my favorite puddles to wheelie. This one's big. Hop. Whoa, it came out the front. Should get a shot of that too, I guess. Beautiful cliff up there. Let's do things the old school way. I haven't used this thing for a while. I mean, why would you when you have so bring her up to top dead center, just go past a little bit, just like the old Yamahas I used to run. It's getting easier than that. Cool little trail though, hey? What did I get myself into on this little trail? Beautiful little trail though, holy, uh-oh. How am I gonna navigate some of the tight spots? Ooh, look at all that nice smooth rock. You see a little seat bounce opportunity. Hope you guys getting some riding in, and I will see you guys on the very next video. Right on.